Hi, I'm Tina Ann Middleton, author of the Forceville series. I'd like to welcome you today to the writing journey, where we encourage and inspire each other in the craft of writing. Today, I'll be talking to you some more about my journey in writing and indie publishing. We'll be right back. In the last episode, I told you about my start in writing and self-publishing, and that was those two little books, Nicky Dog and Love and Grace. Today, I'd like to share with you how I got started and my journey with my novels. Let's get started with the first one. Now, in that last one, I should have worn these. There you go. How's that look? All right, Misguided Target. This is one I had. You know what? I can't do that till I'm ready to read. This is one I'd had an idea for a long time. I'm an avid reader of romantic suspense. And I love it. You know, I love the heroes and the heroines. And I had my own ideas for them. So let's look at our heroine in here. And that's Esther. She's strong. I like to tell people she can seriously kick tail. She's a 4th degree black belt, and yet she's vulnerable because she's afraid to love. She wants to. She has a warm, loving nature, but she's afraid. Our hero is Stephen. Stephen is a school teacher, martial arts student. He's a 3rd or 4th degree black belt himself. I didn't actually tell in the book. You can use your imagination. And when they start off, you know, they have an instant connection. Well, after Esther puts him on the mat. And he's willing to be friends at first. That's fine with him. As a black belt, you'd think, you know, he might be kind of threatened by this tiny little woman that can put him on the mat. He's not. He's just got respect and admiration for Esther. Now, you might be thinking, well, where's the conflict? Trust me, there's some conflict in here. Then one of my favorite heroes of the book is Ninja, the black German Shepherd. Now, Ninja was a canine drug-sniffing dog. I'll let you read what happens to him. I got this idea because, you know, in the books, either the heroine is the one that's the target, or the hero is the target, or somebody in the family is a target. And I thought, what if the dog was a target? What if the dog witnessed something and someone wanted to take him out? So we started with that, but we went ahead and made Esther the target too. You'll have to read the book to find out why it's called Mistaken Target. Now, I did learn some lessons, but I just remembered first I want to read to you from the back of the book and a little bit of the teaser. In the back of the book, and now you need to know, we change these descriptions from time to time. You're getting the original one. Resisting love, grieving for her brother, and fighting for her life. Esther Daniels is a highly skilled martial artist, I'm going to use these now, and fiercely independent. She is just as fierce at resisting romance. Esther's world is shattered when her brother, narcotics detective Paul Daniels, is callously shot and killed. When Paul's canine partner, Ninja, is injured too severely to return to duty, Esther adopts the dog in an effort to keep Paul's presence with her. The summer after Paul's death is quiet, but as autumn begins, so do the deadly incidents. Who is trying to kill her and why? Is Esther the only target? Stephen Abrams is happy to just be Esther's friend, at first. As he and Esther face repeated attempts on her life, they struggle with a growing attraction. Can Stephen protect the woman he is falling for and convince her to give love a chance? Let me read the teaser here. This is just one of the scenes. Stephen's eyes widened in shock. The truck was rolling down the hill straight toward Esther and Ninja. Stephen shouted, "Esther, the truck!" It was all he could get out. Esther looked up in time to see the truck gaining speed as it rolled toward her. She threw the frisbee as far as she could. "Ninja, fetch!" Then she dropped and rolled out of the path of the truck. As Esther desperately moved out of its way, the truck careened down the hall, scattering parkgoers, and finally stopped with a loud bang at a large oak tree. Its front fender was dented, and the hood now sported a decided buckle to it. Stephen ran over to where Esther had landed and helped her sit up. "Are you okay?" he managed to croak out as he brushed leaves and grass off of her. Esther nodded and leaned on Stephen while she caught her breath. "That was close," she gasped. So I said I learned some lessons from this. What were those lessons? One of them, very important one, was don't give up. I had the idea for this book 5 years before I even started on it, really. I mean, I say started on it. I wrote a paragraph, read the paragraph, hated the paragraph, and didn't do any more with it. Support from others is vital, though. My husband is the one that got me started writing it again. And without him, I wouldn't have any of these books. Also, family. I have an aunt who will support me, and she buys the books and gives them to others as gifts. She's already waiting for my third book to come out so she can buy it. Friends, when they found out about the book, one of them, as soon as it went live on Amazon, she bought it. That means a lot to me as a new author. And then there's the writing groups. I joined these writing groups before I even finished the book. NOLA Stars, which the group is no longer meeting, but at the time they were there. They were part of Romance Writers of America. Those precious men and women let me pester them and badger them with questions and ideas about my book, and they were so patient with me. Then I went to American Christian Fiction Writers, and they also let me badger and pester them and ask them questions and bounce ideas off of them. And both groups were incredibly supportive. So make sure you've got that support. That's so important. Let me tell you a little bit about this book now, Hidden Target. Now, this book, once I started writing, it took about 2 years. This book, I'm not sure how this happened, but I had it written in 6 months. I guess because I was on a roll. I was warmed up from doing the first one. Let me tell you a little bit about this one. Our heroine is Rachel. Rachel doesn't necessarily have a black belt, but she was trained in martial arts growing up. So again, Rachel can seriously kick tail. She has a problem with control, especially if she gets scared. If something panics her, she has a trouble with control. There is an incident, and she runs because she thinks she's killed somebody. Our hero is Jesse. Jesse is working at a local ranch, the Rocking K, and because of some things in his past, Jesse can't forgive himself. This causes some conflict later in the book. Our dog in the book is Angel. She's a border collie. That's her right there. You might have a hard time seeing her. I like to say that Angel probably has the most sense of anybody in the book. She's a smart little dog, and she's an instigator in some things. Let me read a little bit to you from it here. I'm going to be smart this time and use these to start off. Running scared and out of control. After using extreme measures to defend herself from an attacker, Rachel is running scared, mostly of herself. When a stray dog saves her from a rattlesnake, Rachel adopts the dog, naming her Angel. Jesse's not sure what to think of the strange woman and her dog. When Rachel gets a job at the ranch where he works, however, they develop a solid friendship. But disturbing events begin to happen to Rachel. They seem to be centered around a necklace she finds in her suitcase. It's not hers, so how did it get there? Though a highly trained martial artist, Rachel seems vulnerable. Can Jesse protect her? Will they have the chance to grow their new friendship into something more? And let me read the little teaser to you. Rachel felt a shiver run through her. Angel had just confirmed her fear. Someone had been in her cabin while she was out. For the second time in the past few weeks, someone had invaded her space. Jesse took hold of her elbow and steered her toward the bed. "You better sit down," he coaxed her. "You look pale and trembly." Rachel sank down on the bed and stared around her. "Jesse, what is going on? Why would someone come in here? I don't have anything valuable to steal." "What about the pendant you found and gave to Maggie?" he suggested. His face was grim as he stood by Rachel. "We better call Maggie. I think you should ask Kendall to let you and Angel stay in the main house until this is resolved." Rachel didn't say a word. She just nodded and headed for the door. She didn't want to spend another minute in her cabin. So what did I learn from Hidden Target? One thing, I learned to use whatever time I could get to write. When I was writing this one, we were in the midst of the COVID pandemic. And I had a sore throat and had to be tested. And this was when those tests took longer to come back. So I was home, I think, about 10 days. And I was able to use that time to get a lot done on that book. I was really pleased. Now, the third book in the series, Unintended Target, is actually still in progress. So we're still working on that. We hope to release it soon. I'm not going to give you a date because I don't want to disappoint anybody. But we are working on it. Let me tell you a little bit about Unintended Target. It's about Maggie, the police chief that you will see in the first two books. She is also a single mother. She's raising her son, Robert. And there's a story there. Part of that story involves our hero, Noah. Noah's her ex-husband. He is a recovering drug addict and alcoholic who has found faith in Jesus Christ and has made a complete turnaround in his life. Because of that, he wants to make amends to Maggie. Maggie doesn't want to have anything to do with him at first. Then there's their son, Robert. Robert is Maggie and Noah's son. Both Maggie and Robert have to learn some lessons about forgiveness. The dog in the book is Bear. He is a young Rottweiler who is found seemingly abandoned by a local grocery store. The lessons I've had to learn with this book, the importance of time management. Somehow I didn't seem to do as well with that this time, even though I had 2 times where I was home. Once because of weather, and once I just took some time off. I did have to learn not to give up. When I started writing this one, we were getting discouraged by book sales that just were not up to our expectations. And then because of the COVID pandemic, things at work, things at home, there's stress. And sometimes when you're stressed, you don't feel like writing. You don't feel like doing anything but sitting in front of the TV or the computer and vegging. So you have to I had to make myself work on the book. Thank God for my husband, because there were times he would take my turn for doing the dishes, or he would take care of dinner and he would tell me, "Go write. Go work on the book." So I did. There's that support again. I didn't tell you, let me just tell you a little bit of something. Each of the books has a theme. Mistaken Target, it's don't let fear keep you from experiencing God's best for you. In Hidden Target, the theme is God can forgive anything. In the third book, it's the importance of forgiving. You know, in the second book, Jesse had to learn to forgive himself. But in the third book, Maggie and Robert have to learn to forgive Noah. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to tell you anymore. So that's the beginnings of my journey, I guess you could say. Becoming an indie author has been thrilling and scary. I've had moments of exhilaration, like when we would see the book sales, when we'd finish the book, the finished product, hold it in my hands and go, this is my book. I wrote this. There have been other times I've wondered if I should bother to keep writing. When I'd see the book sales not coming up to expectations, you know, it's discouraging. But I've decided I'm going to keep writing. I hope you'll keep writing too. Have a great week.